Hi there, and welcome to another episode here on BusttheNet. This is GameChangers, brought to you by One Football App. It's a chance for me to get my hands into somebody else's save. This one comes from Rick Brooks, and he's managing Toulouse. He's done pretty well. In fact, last season he finished just behind Paris Saint-Germain, and he's qualified for the Champions League. He's in the Champions Group D, and he's won the first two matches, beating Krasnodar and Galatasaray away and at home, sitting pretty on top. And he's got a game against Arsenal, and he's decided to send me a Game Changers episode. Well, very nice timing though. So it's a very interesting save. But before I get on with the team, I just want to focus on certain things that I've noticed some people doing. Okay, so he's gone with a focus training program, ball control average. Now, one thing I always advise people when they do this is you need to change this. You need to have a calendar of sorts. And if you are not sure how to set up the calendar, just go into your notebook here and create one. And I notice you've got you've got a good calendar where you are tracking players. This is nice. I am so pleased with how you're doing this. You're tracking the development of certain players, I notice. And you're looking at other targets along the way. And I like this. What you also want to do is you want to make sure that you have reminders set for your training. So if you find that you've created a training program, just create a note for yourself. Change training from ball control to attacking, for example. And you can set you can create a category for yourself, like training. You know that already. And then you can set a reminder date, select the date. Let's say it's 3 months in the future. Let's say it's December, then go down to December, pick a date, set it up, and then do a reminder occurrence. You can actually create a training program, right, for yourself, like the ones I like to do focused. So you can set one 333 every 3 months. You can change it and then set your reminder and do it every year. It keeps popping up. So you get a reminder date hitting you to change on the 22nd of December, so it'll appear in your calendar. Then it'll be in your calendar, nice and pretty there. And then when the date comes, you get a reminder. Now this is very important, especially if you do focus training, so don't forget to do that. I noticed some people have they've made some mistakes with this in the past. Now this is very good. Your match cohesion, everything shows that you're doing the right things in terms of your hierarchy and how you've gotten your players to support you. Excellent. So I don't know why I want me to take a look at your save, but never mind. We'll just carry on. Here, this is another way I do squad comparison. So you've got a tactic, calling it the Christmas tree. This is nice. I like this. You've got it set for currently selected roles for your tactic, and we can actually see your depth in your squad. Here we can see that you got Jethro Williams as a wing back, but on your right flank you don't have anybody else except for Kevin Amian. Here we can see his positioning is 15. His anticipation is pretty okay. His acceleration is 13. That's not too bad. But then when we look at the rest of your back line, this player isn't that bad either. He's pretty good. Basically, you can choose between Salcedo and Amian, but Salcedo is generally a centre back. And then you've got Jean-Philippe come in. Okay, so looks like he's another option. But as you can see, apart from these two, you don't really have anybody else who's basically a wing back. Then we look on the left flank. You've got two here, Jethro and whatever his name is. We'll call him Lyko. And as you get, he's pretty much an average fullback. not somebody who's going to explode down the flanks like this guy. So this guy looks like a pretty attacking fullback, has got decent decision making. His positioning is pretty poor though. So it's 11. He might get caught out of position once or twice, and then you have no other covers. So then when we look at your reserves and we start looking through your reserves, that's when I start thinking, oh, does he have any other fullbacks who can play on the left? You got a youngster, Hisham. Sell. I wouldn't keep him. Then why would I sell him? Well, his mentals are pretty poor. His teamwork. I mean, look at his bravery. I'm not a big fan of defenders or fullbacks with low bravery. I just sell them off. I never keep them. Then we've got Bruno Alves. Now Alves is only 17 years old. I would definitely think about developing him. He looks pretty exciting as a youngster. So what I would do with him is I would not have him in the reserves anymore. I mean, okay, it's true that you can keep them there until they're 18, but looking at your team at the moment, you've got Williams here, and then you have Alves as a backup. You could play these players in, but once that Bruno Alves turns 18, start giving him game time. Now, the way attributes develop for youngsters is pretty simple. You want them playing, they need to play as much as possible. So, some people say you only need to play them for 10 minutes. That's bullshit, okay? Every minute counts for attribute development. So, if you really want his attributes to develop, then you need to play him for at least 45 minutes. Right now, if you play him for 45 minutes, two things are going to happen. First, his match ratings have more time to become a good number, because there's something in this game called progression factor. Progression factor is like a modifier, right? It takes the total attribute development points. It's like, let's assume you've got 20 attribute points that he can possibly gain because of your facilities, your coaches, time he's spent on playing, training and stuff. And then you get something called progression factor. Progression factor is the random variable. And this is affected by things like his personality, how many games has he played well in, for example. Now, and the total amount of time. So you want to increase the possibility that you get a good progression factor. And the best way to do that, in my honest opinion, play him in matches you know you're going to win. Right? I mean, how do we know that? We don't really know, but just put him on the bench, and then if you see the scoreline is already 2-0, and you by looking at the game, you can see that you're doing okay, then bring him on, but make sure that he plays at least 45 minutes. Now, once he plays 45 minutes and his ratings get to 7.0, for example, then he stands a good chance for developing well. So this is something that you want to bear in mind. Okay, so now we've covered basically everything, and more or less you're on the right track. So let's take a look at your tactics. You got 3 tactics here. You got a Christmas tree, a 4-2-3-1, which is a work in progress. I can see that, and a 4-3-1-2. You call it a 4-2-2-1-2 asymmetric. I don't see it. I don't see no asymmetric system here, so I assume you changed this right at the last minute before you sent me the save. Okay, so let's take a look at your results thus far. You've done pretty okay. I mean, you've had some nice wins, but you haven't met the big boys yet. Oh, Olympique Marseille, you beat them 3-1 away from home. But what happened here against FC Metz? You lost 1-0. A match you dominated, but you lost to Metz. You had some. I want to know what kind of shots you had. Firstly, Metz shots on goal, one inside the box. Yeah, you probably scored from there, off target. Okay, this is usually a sign for me that I get this too once in a while, and there's a lot of theories flying around as to why this is happening, and the best way to reduce the possibility of this happening is to make sure that you get really good chances inside the box. So I'm just looking at the number of good chances you've had. You had 1 and 2. These 2 count as good chances. The rest, not really. Then you remove that because it's straining my eyes. Then you got shot save. This is not really a good chance. This is a bender from range, and for some, this is okay. The keeper managed to save this. What about Toulouse? They had 12 shots off target. We did a good job defending. Shots saved and shots blocked. Well, okay. I think the quality of chances needs to be improved. Let's take a look at why you conceded this goal. Let's change this to 2D Classic. All right, the ball is played to Alcalat. Paulo Renato back, goes up, and I'm looking at how your boys have come back. So far, not looking too bad. Rodri plays it out to Duran, to Escalante, to Zanuke. Limbombe gets the ball. I'm looking for players to come up in support. I see 1, 2, 3, and I only see him there. He holds the ball out, cuts inside, plays it back to Escalante. This guy is nowhere near. This guy is here. He holds the ball up. Play it out to Escalante. Escalante back to Amian. Amian back to Duran, to Sakune. Can't get the ball out to the wingback. The wingback essentially doesn't have anything to do. And the ball goes in. It's very unfortunate because I think the referee blocked you. I just saw something here, and I'm trying to find the goal again. Goal only. It looks like the referee actually blocked the view of the defender. So when he played it across this way, out of position, goes here. This player's Amian is out of position as well. Okay, so unfortunately for you, yes, the one downside of the 4-4, the Christmas tree, is your lack of width. And when you play against a team which plays a 4-4-2, you got to think about how you're going to protect your flanks. And Amiens basically got caught out of position. The central defender wasn't in a position to help him in any other way. Certain things I would have done slightly differently. Now, what about up front? Up front, we had problems as well. I was looking for a chance for this guy to get into play, but the shadow striker may be too far ahead and you can't get that link between the two, which explains why the wingback was always free and the ball was circulating from here, and then it got stuck somewhere here, and then after that you lose the ball. All right, so let's see what else we can do with this little tactic. The first thing I want to do is look at your players and what you have. You got a ball playing defender here on cover, right? So the ball playing defender plays risky passes. His player trait, Rodri's, is to play short, simple passes. So you might have him as a ball-playing defender, but he's always going to play short, simple passes. So if you want to do this, you put him here, and you change, and this guy can play your risky passes. If he can, passing 13, vision is about 11, decisions 15, yeah, he might be able to. Escalante might be able to do that. Rodri now, positioning, I actually think this is your weak flank. However, if I were to play the next game, which is going to be against Arsenal, I would change this role. Here, this is the tactic we kind of settled on. I just want to do a few things here. We got this guy moving into channels, runs wide with ball. F9, don't roam. Okay, so we're going to leave the F9. Then shadow striker, ball winning midfielder, DLP on defense, more risky passes, carry low. We're going to remove this and this. I don't want him to have such a simple life. Pass it shorter, we'll remove that. Ball playing defender, Escalante instead of, even Rodri. If I play Rodri, he will not be the ball playing defender. We got wing back on attack. We got a goalkeeper. We're going to change him to a sweeper keeper. Why? Because I want him to play the ball on the ground as well. Okay, so we got a sweeper keeper, wing back. Now, this is the thing here. This tactic can change considerably because first up, there's so much movement in this tactic, right? F9, it works. It will work against teams that are camping. But what are you gonna do against teams that are attacking you? And we can fully expect Arsenal to come attacking. So if they're gonna come attacking, this tactic is not gonna work because you're gonna have this works against teams that camp, but not against teams that are gonna attack you because you won't have the time to this guy drops deep nicely, plays this guy in. No way, they'll all be back defending by then. So basically, against Arsenal, we might change this role later because if I see that this guy is not really doing the thing that I want him to do, I'm gonna change it. And we're gonna look at the available players. We've got, he's not bad as a poacher actually. He's 20 years old. He can explode into space. What a Guido Carrillo, 11, finishing 14, 13. Then we've got this guy. Sorry, Guido, you're not playing. We're going to use Lapadula. All right, so we got Brian Limbombe as the backup because he's just fast. So if I need to play a combination, then I'll play Lapadula. But the Lapadula isn't... He's not tall. So we got Simon Rogers Zakuani, passing 15, decisions 13. Then we got Wada, Valentin Wada, passing 16, decisions 17. Okay, we're going to play you here. But this role, should let someone that run wide with ball. I want him to be a magnet of sorts, so we turn him into an attacking playmaker. All right, we get him to be an attacking playmaker, so he at least may want to try and play balls out here or into the space here for the wing back. And we'll start the game and see how this goes. Then we'll also control flexible. We'll push high up, use the offside trap, and play it on standard flexible rather. Because this is Arsenal, let's show them some respect. Well, it didn't take long for Arsenal to tell us something about how they're going to attack. Within the first minute, I was already considering making changes. With Bellerin bombing down the right flank, we immediately changed the wing back to a defend duty and decided to go up the other way. But once again, the way Arsenal were playing, with that much width going down the flanks, we were going to have serious issues if we continued playing the same way. So with that narrow configuration, I decided to go into a system which would at least get some of my players tracking back to cover the flanks. So we switched over to a 4-5-1 with an attacking playmaker on the left with an inside forward on the right. But more importantly, the striker up front had to be a poacher so that we could at least get behind Arsenal as they attacked. We also decided that since they were giving us some space, pass into space would definitely be an option, including going a bit wider to encourage play down the flanks. This time around, as we moved the ball around, there was adequate support to move the ball wide. We got a great chance to score inside the 11th minute with that attack, and it didn't take us very long to reassert ourselves. Lapadula feeding Mayoral, who went on to give us the lead inside the 22nd minute. Changes working this time around. Instead of playing that narrow configuration that would inevitably lead us to basically we were just running into ourselves. Going wide gave us the chance to get on the score sheet. We managed to score one goal again from a deflected set piece. Arsenal may have found their way back into the game with a goal off a corner, but we didn't play that badly. Toulouse continued to threaten Arsenal. This time, whenever Arsenal attacked, we had options in our counter. Once again, the width provided with our players created by the wing backs who were attacking gave us a chance to go down the flanks and take advantage of the spaces, which we certainly did. We did manage to score a few more goals. One more was a penalty, but more importantly, every time Arsenal attacked, we had players in the right kind of positions to provide cover, and we could also do our quick counters. This was a great move from defense into attack, leading to our 6th goal. Arsenal managed to pull one more back only because we decided to rotate and bring some youngsters into the team. A luxury 5-goal scoreline gives us. But essentially, this is what we turned our tactic to: an attacking playmaker inside forward, standard structure, pass into space, push high up, use offside trap with a defensive fullback on the left flank and the wing back on support on the right flank. The only reason why we went to the defensive wing back was because I was afraid that with Bellerin exploding down that flank, we would have major issues. Card, or maybe even a sending off. Kelvin Amian is okay as a wing back to attack down the flanks. With the inside forward tracking inside, the wing back has space to run up the pitch. So, not too bad. Decent win over Arsenal in our Champions League encounter. Next was going to be a much tougher match, surprisingly. I decided to stick with your 4-3-2-1, but you don't have scouting reports. You should fix that problem by assigning a scout. But this time around, we couldn't break them down. In fact, we went a goal behind. So going down a goal behind to a very defensive system forced me to change the tactic around. There were no PIs to the system. Basically, using a Mazzala for some extra width down the right flank. He does go into the half spaces. The complete wing back on attack on the left flank. The striker combination was basically a deep lying forward in support and a poacher on attack. You could even use an advanced forward, but I wanted to use a poacher. And we got the Mazzala. We did okay in this match with the DFB ball playing defender on the left. The only player with risky passes was the DLP on defend, and we managed to come back from a goal behind and get 2 goals back. The final score for this match, 2-1. It was a good win for Toulouse as they continue to stay on top. Your next match is going to be, interestingly, against Monaco. And now, if Monaco were to play a 4-2-3-1, I wouldn't advise you using this 4-3-2-1. I would advise you to look at something which gives you a bit of width, like the 4-5-1. And if you have the chance to pummel some sides, the 4-3-1-2 is not a bad option. The 4-3-2-1 that you're using can still work, but you may need to tweak it slightly. This is not a bad system with teams that don't play with 2 DMs. Then you may want to think your options here would be, do you want to change your F9 to a poacher? That could be one option, but I would just stick to this configuration. It should still be fine. The only thing you'll have to consider is which wingback do you want to shut down. I mean, basically telling which wingback to be on a defend duty, you can easily tell him to be a defensive fullback. Well, I hope you enjoyed this edition of Game Changers. If you have any questions, you know to find me on Twitter at BusttheNet or addicted2fm.com, my website. Once again, I'd like to thank all my patrons for their continued support of this channel. You make these kind of shows possible for the rest of the community. You guys take care and have a good one. I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.